Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Ahad. And I will love you, Yahuwah, with all my leb, my heart, all my nefesh, my inner being, very, very much. Modeka, modeka, modeka. And I will love my neighbor as myself. Hallelujah. Not sure how I lost it, but that's okay. It's Love Live Rocker on the Reality Radio. And
Unmuted.
we're grateful that we got this opportunity to find love and learn love, you know, in a lifetime. To create the atmosphere so that you can have a worship, a place of asking, a place of searching, a place of knocking, you know, to get that place available to you, to open that place up. That secret place, the one that we talk about in Tehillim or Psalm 91, to get there and have that happen for yourself, for you, your prayer closet. This is about you. This is about your prayer closet, not mine. I obviously got a pretty good one. You know, I'm sitting here wrapped in a blanket right now. I'm wrapped in a blanket, and I'm knowing, because of the intense schedule that I have here on my final days in Hawaii, that to go ahead and be on at 2 in the morning, 2:07, right? Which is 5:07 in El Paso, 6:07 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? 7:07 in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, the home of Trump, the real home of Trump, the real White House. Yeah, guess what? To find the love within it all, and to learn that love and what that looks like, you got to be able to ask, you got to be able to search, you got to be able to knock. You know, this is a directive in the morals and values, or the Mishle of Mashiach, Mishal of Mashiach. The mind of Messiah motivation is motivated, right? The way we get motivated by and to and from, and, you know, how and when and where and why and all that. Well, how do we get there? Well, we got to have this place where we can go and communicate. We've got to be able to communicate with the Creator. And it's in the communication between you, I've already been doing it and going to continue doing it because it works. But to have that achievement, I got to be able to get myself in the right place. So I had to think about, okay, this morning, what would be a good segue? Because I can't talk that long. I got to make this brief with you guys because I got to go back to sleep. And then I'm going to have to get up at about 5 o'clock my time, which would be about 8 o'clock in El Paso. So that I can leave here on time to get on one of my last Hawaiian tours, because I'm going to be on another tour bus all day today. I was on a tour bus yesterday. We went to Pearl Harbor. Phenomenal. The greatest act of love. Let's just start there. Yahusha says, no greater love can anyone have than to lay down his life for his friends. So, when somebody enrolls in the military, no matter what country it is, and by the way, in Yisrael and in their country, just so you understand, in Israel, everybody that turns 18 years old has to serve, and I believe it's a 2-year term. You have to serve 2 years mandatory in the military when you turn 18. Now they have one of the smallest countries, one of the lowest populations, but they developed this Gideon's army. They developed this David's mighty men. They developed this Yehuda Maccabees kind of revolutionary people that can defeat mass amounts of people with a very small army. They win. And they have won over and over and over. And despite all the enemies that Yisrael has around the world, when a good king is in place, let's just say it for what it is. If you read through the Kings, you read through the Chronicles, you come to understand when a good king is in place, the berachot, the protection, or the Hanan, the favor, it's upon Yisrael. They have it. And, if we are, in essence, supposed to be this, Ephraim, right? This arm, this tribe that has settled out of the 12 tribes, that this one here is in the United States, then the same principles apply for where every tribe is settled. If we've got a good king, and right now that's Donald J. Trump, then that berachot and Hanan will be upon us. And we can teshuvah, we can have a repentance as a nation, right? As it says in Chronicles, and we can humble ourselves and pray that Yah would heal our land. And I think there were many people that were doing that here in the United States for a long time, petitioning Yah, asking, searching and knocking. Where's the love? Where's the love? And as we were, hearing this thing, make America great again, make America great again, make America. I'm sitting back and going, in our lifetime, was America ever great? I mean, think about it. You know, we grew up with presidents being killed, and his brother. You know, John Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy. You know, both got killed. Martin Luther King got killed. You know, Malcolm X got killed. You know, all these major leaders, these kings, were getting killed. And it's like an evil took over this tribe, you know, over our lifetime. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. We've gone through, you know, Vietnam War. We've gone through Desert Storm. You know, we've gone through a lot of different guerrilla warfare kind of things, you know, the Contras, you know, and all this stuff, right? And we still got crazy terrorists that want to kill us. And maybe we've not been the most righteous with some of the kings that we've had. You know, maybe George Bush wasn't a righteous king. Maybe Jimmy Carter wasn't a righteous king. You know, maybe Bill Clinton wasn't a righteous king. Right? Maybe Barack Obama, maybe he wasn't a righteous king. Maybe quid pro quo Joe Biden, maybe he wasn't a righteous king. You got to ask yourself these questions. You got to start to really scratch your head and wonder, are these righteous people that are in a position of being a leader of the country called the United States of America? And as I thought about it, it's like, you know, no, we've never been great. And the reason we haven't been great is because we've really never had a righteous king before. All these presidents or kings of this country, they've really not been righteous. Donald J. Trump is the first righteous guy who really wants to do things right. He wants to be righteous. So if we want to learn to love as a nation, we got to love the truth. Because it's the truth that's going to get us free. So if we want to make America great again, which was probably prior to me being born, it was great at one time. And the ideal of it, idealistically, is great. So I love the concept of being a nation that is, you know, loving, that is kind, you know, loving kindness, a nation that is, how should I say, compassionate, you know, that understands the tender love that I've been teaching about now, you know. We have got to see life for what it really is and realize that when we're going into that prayer closet, when we're going in there to do what the word tells us to do, which is humble ourselves and pray, and we're interceding on behalf of all those that are out there that don't get it. They don't have a prayer closet. They don't have a place, a secret place to petition Yah, to go in and ask and to search and to knock. They don't got it. They don't know what it looks like, you know. But we do. Right? If you're connecting with me right now, if you're understanding where I'm at, then you are that prayer person. You know, let me give you the statistics so you can see where you stand, all right? They say that about almost 90% of Americans believe in prayer, or people from the United States of America. almost 90%, it's like 87%, we believe in the power of prayer. Okay, statistically. So that's good. That's good because believing means to trust and obey, right? That's amuna in Abrai. It's trusting, it's obeying. You have got, when they say believe in petitioning or talking to or communicating with Yah, Almighty, El Elyon, Yah, El Elyon Yahweh, right? When you are going before the Ancient of Days and you're going to petition him, I believe the prayers of the righteous, the scripture says, avail much. So hopefully you that are motivated to get on your knees, please, right? Gonna get on your knees, man. Those of you that are motivated to do the knees please thing, well, you're gonna humble yourself. You're gonna see the necessity of getting on your knees. And you're gonna ask. You're gonna ask humbly, heal our land. Now that's a mouthful because our land has not been healthy, and we're seeing just how putrid and how close to death this nation really was, as the waste, the fraud, and the abuse is being exposed right now, and the swamp is finally getting drained. Now, why did Donald Trump go through all this persecution? I mean, Scripture talks about we will be persecuted for his name's sake. Now, I've never heard Donald Trump say Yah once. I have not. I haven't heard him say Yah. I hope he gets the name right. I hope that those that are, in this messianic Hebraic roots movement, whatever part of that whole thing that you think that you're part of, some kind of new denomination or some new religion. No, I'm a follower of the way. And I know his name is Yah Ashayah. Okay, I am that I am is the definition in English of what that is. In Exodus or Shemot 3, verses 13, 14, and 15, at the burning bush, we see very clearly, whom should I tell them sent me? Well, I'm telling you who sent me out here to reach in, or do in-reach, and reach out, or do outreach. The in-reach outreach that Yahabah Global Ministries is doing around the world right now is because we are in 100%. We're all in. We are believing, we are trusting and obeying Yah and his emet, his truth. The scripture makes it very clear that we worship him in Ruah and emet. That's his breath breathing into us and the truth. So I'm not here to be just another one of those religious false teachers. In fact, I don't think he wants us to be religious at all. I think he wants us to get real. And that's why, as I present You know, in this HWTV Productions, reality TV, right from a mobile phone as we are living life kind of thing, as I present these master's messages that he presses upon my heart, it's to help you to break it down to the most common denominator that all of us have. Can we all get on our knees and humble ourselves? Can we do that? That's the question, you know. Can you do it? I believe you can. All right? So if I can get on my knees, you can get on your knees, right? So and we've done big studies on that too, you know, on the knees and why in our secret place, Tehillim or Psalm 91, why should we really go prostrate down on the floor and say, I need you, I need you, I need you. And when you're saying I need you, you're saying I need love, I need love, I need love. Because 1 Yehukanan 4:8 says, 1 John 4:8 says Yahweh is love. He is Ahava. He is the give love. He is the giver of love. He is the love gift king. The love gift king of kings, right? He's a gift that keeps on giving, right? So love is a give. And I think the only way that we get built up and strong enough to be able to give it back out is we got to get it first. We got to ask for it to come in. So if 87% of Americans believe, they're trusting and obeying, they're getting down on their knees, you know, they're asking him, they're searching him out, they're knocking. I need this, I need you, I need you, I need you. If we are petitioning him in such a manner, it says his word can't return back void. That means everything that's in his word has to come to pass eventually. So if you're consistently praying or petitioning or asking, searching, knocking, if you're doing this process over and over and over and over and over, eventually you're going to get answered. He's going to answer you. And, you know, the hardest part for some of you is sometimes you're asking for the wrong thing, so he's going to say no. Oh, man, I'm telling you. A lot to learn here, right, on this subject. But the fact is those 87%, they pray, or what they think is prayer, right? Less than 5 minutes every day. In fact, my understanding is the statistic on those that actually are petitioning him, they're asking, they're searching, they're knocking for longer than 5 minutes is something like 1%. 1%, that's it. That's the remnant. You know, that's the rare people that are really on the righteous path. They're on the way. For those people that think, you know, that Yahweh is just some, you know, some extra thing in their life, and he's not everything in their life. If he's the extra thing and not the everything, you don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm hoping that it'll prick you in the heart and that you'll transform. You'll change your mind. Yeah. You'll Teshuvah. You'll turn your eyes back on him in a way that you never have. Maybe you never even had him on him in the first place. So, keep your eyes on the ball, right? If you want to get a home run, you got to keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your eyes on the prize if you want to win. And what are we winning? We're winning over sinning. And then every time we get another win and another win and another win and another win, and we start getting ourselves in this position of winning over sinning, there is an account for your life, everything you do, right? So, man, I'm telling you, if he is putting in a Lamb's Book of Life, an account on all of the things that you think, say, and do. Think, say, do, 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 think, say, do. Every day, day after day after day after day. If he is having an account of your life, this is your life. Your life. Your life. How do you pray? How do you petition the creator of the universe? Is that relationship there? If the communication's not there, the relationship's not there. I'm just gonna break it on down to you, right? But as it grows, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be, out of those people that do go into some type of what you know as prayer for more than 5 minutes, then there's going to be levels of how deep does the communication get? Is it surface? Do you run out of things to say? Do you have down a bunch of prayers that you've just written and it's very generic and it's not very intimate? It's not very open. You just really don't. And I mean, only you know. No one really knows how much a person prays or how much a person is communicating with the Creator, another person. No one really can judge that righteously or rightly. Only you can judge yourself. And that's what I'm challenging you to do right now. And from now on, is every day ask yourself, did I remember to pray? Did I remember this petitioning action that I have to take? Now, 2 times a day, you should be going to Devarim or Deuteronomy 6 verses 4, 5, and 6, and then add on what Yahusha said in Matthew 22 or Matthew 22. And you gotta say, hear or listen, Israel. You gotta know that you're becoming Israel, right? You're not gonna be a Gentile anymore. That's the whole conversion process, is you go from being a Gentile or someone outside the family, the Mishpachah, and you join the family of Yah, and you become the children of Yisrael. You become the sons of Yah. That's what the Yeshuic Barit, or the Yeshuic contract revision, the 7th one, that's what it's telling you. The Messiah, that's what he came for, was to get the record straight, man. For you and for me. So he says, hear. Listen, Israel, Yashrael, overcomer. Listen, overcomer. Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad. Now, Eloheinu is simply your Elohim. So, Eloheinu is your Elohim, or my, you say my. Now, unfortunately, in the generic, watered down, changed in the wrong direction Bible, as you may know it, it's going to say, our God. Our God. Right? And that's not accurate. It's our Elohim or Eloheinu. That is the original text. That's what's in there. Don't say our God. Stop saying that. Stop calling him God. Stop referring to him as just another God. Whenever it's saying God, these are false. All the ones that say God, 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 you know, the Hindu gods and the German gods and the Roman gods and the Greek gods and all these gods, those are gods. But when you're talking about the creator of the universe, he is Ahad. He is one. And that's what you're petitioning and letting him know up front. And decreeing it, declaring it, stating it. That's why you're going to say this every day, that you are acknowledging he is Echad. He is one, 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 one. We don't have gods. We have one Elohim, one Al, and he is a jealous Al, and he doesn't want the credit or the honor or the respect to go to anybody else. You know, he wants you to respect his name. His name is not Elohim. His name is Yahweh. Yahweh, Yahuwah, however you're going to pronounce it. Yeah, I think if you're getting closer to calling him the Lord or calling him God, I think you're going in the right direction, okay? Just try that and run with that for a while. And the more and more you pray about it, the ancient name you're going to find out is breathe in, breathe out. So you're going to say, yeah, 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 yeah. Just like when you are born, you breathe in, yeah, and then you cry, right? Right? So you're breathing in, Yah, you're breathing out, Wah, Yah, Wah, Yahweh, right? This is his name. Let everything that has breath praise Yah. So this is the intimacy of communication that goes back when you're a baby. And that's why Yahusha, in some of his morals and values or Mind of Messiah motivation type teachings that he did to get you into the right mind, that's why he said these things, that you're going to come into this kingdom with a belief like a child. And what does that kind of belief look like? It's a very vulnerable, you're going to make yourself very vulnerable. And where does that vulnerability show up the best? In the Psalm 91 or the Tehillim 91 secret place. That's the private place between you and him. And this is where you're going to be knocking on a lot of things going on in your life. This is where you're going to be asking. This is where you're going to be searching your heart with him. You're going to go to that second part of that Devarim, to 6:5, and you're going to say, and I will, Ahava. I will have the gift of love or the love give. I will give my love back to you, Yahweh. So you give it to me. You are a constant give of love to me. I'm going to give it back to you right now in this petition. I will love Yahweh with all my leb, with all my heart. I will Ahava Yahweh with all my leb, nefesh, my inner being, my inner man. Some say mind. Mind does not mean your brain. Mind is that gut feeling that you have. That's your mind. That's what most people call, in Christianity, a soul. The word is nefesh, neshama. It is all relative to the ancient language. And when you look at those ancient language words, they have so much more meaning to them. And it corrects all these inaccuracies, like using the Sol Invictus which again goes off into gods and goddesses. You don't want to be in your worship, in your praise, and bringing gods and goddesses into the situation. So if you don't get your mouth right, if you don't clean your mouth out with Ruach HaKodesh Shachma, or the wisdom that can breathe into your life, if you just open yourself up to receive that wind, and it's constantly blowing the wind in, and it's blowing that wind, when you are yafident and you speak it back out, like I am right now, it's going to come out with a yafidence. It's going to come out with a strong, powerful way of messaging what he said to you, what he spoke to you while it was all swimming around in there, and now you're going to speak it back out. All right? So I will love Yahweh with all my heart, with all my innermost being. And then strength is a mistranslation. That's the Greeks. The Greeks mistranslated it. It doesn't say strength there. It doesn't say might. It says modeha. That means I'm going to love him with all my innermost being, or my nefesh, my neshama. I'm going to love him with all my leb, with all my heart. Very much modeha, right? So this should be prayed, and it should be prayed as something, not something that is some canned generic prayer that you just learn and now you're very religiously going to just recite that, that is not what he is teaching us to do in the communication he wants from you. The communication that he wants from you is intimate. It's intimate. It's close. It's you getting close to him. And you should be, if this is new to you and you're more new in this, you should be getting closer and closer and closer. And you should feel a growing in the direction that you're going. There's a growing in the going, right? And where are you going? What is the go? It's the go, it's the do, and it's the be. So in other words, it's going to be a manifestation of actions that start to happen in your daily life. And, I'm just going to tell you, there's going to be times that you can't wait to get back on your knees, that you can't wait to get back into deeper communication. Now, what happens as this whole process grows in the asking and the searching and the knocking is it goes beyond the Tehillim or the Psalm 91. It goes beyond just what you're going to do early in the morning or while you're on your knees. It starts to become a conscious contact where you hear him communicating to you. You're hearing him communicate to you throughout the day. You start to know his voice. You start to know that he is with you. He is Emmanuel. And as Yah with us or El with us, Emmanuel, as that process is happening, the conscious contact, man, of him being in your thoughts, right? Him being in your heart, him being in your nefesh, your innermost being, it becomes very obvious. It's not something now that you're just asking for and that you're petitioning him on. But no, you've already done the asking, you've already done the searching, you've already done the knocking on just getting the communication, just getting the love relationship, the Yahabah. You have been working on this, right? In fact, it's why we changed, our global ministry approach and its name to Yahabah Global Ministries because we want to teach people how to really communicate with him intimately, and he will start to speak to you and through you if you are completely trusting him and you are obeying him. That's Amunah. You got to have the Amunah or the belief accurate. There's going to have to be all these elements in place. You know, there's a lot of people out there teaching some kind of philosophical thing. It's not something they're doing. It's something they learned in some Bible college. Well, that dog don't hunt for us. The true followers of Yahusha, the true followers of Yahushua, this Mashiach, this guy that was here, 2,000 years ago, the true followers today of him as a brother, but even more importantly, in the intimacy and the communication, he goes from being a brother to a friend who sticks even closer than a brother ever could, would, or should. It's a big incentive in the whole, father, son, or Abba Ben or Ab Ben. This whole father, son, and breath. These three that are one. This whole diversity within the personality of a creator who created you to be in his image. He uses these different diversities of a humanness so that we can connect with it, so that we can have that intimacy, right? That we can be adopted into the Mishpachah. We can stop being a Gentile and we can join this family. I'm just going to tell you right now, you cannot join this family without going through this process, this necessary process. You can't do it. It's a process of communication that is necessary for you. And when you go through that process, it's going to be a game changer in your life. Your whole life is going to transform. Romans 12 becomes a reality because you start coming into the perfect will of Elohim. What has his will been since the Garden of Eden? He wants relationship with man. I mean, if you can't see that, and you know what? He's always wanted, since you were born, he's always wanted the same relationship that he had with the first Adam and the second Adam, Yahusha. He's always wanted that same kind of intimate, close, personal relationship with you. Always. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. He wants relationship with you. So you have got to come to that place in the secret place where these things are manifesting upon your heart, so that when you leave the secret place and you go out into the world, that you take him with you. Don't leave him back there in the secret place. Take him with you, because now he's in your lap. He's in your innermost being. He has become the high priest of your life. And we don't use priest. It's actually Cohen is the proper term, because priest insinuates paganism. It's a pagan term. So the high Cohen that will take you to the Kadesh of Kadesh, the separated from everything. When you're going into that Kadesh of Kadesh, guess what? That's the secret place. The veil has been torn. The veil's rent. you can now go there. You have permission to go there. Because you are supposed to be in the royal Cohen when you're joining this family. You have access now. Right? It's like having access to, if you were back in Moses' time, right? It's like having access to Aaron, who would have been the first high Cohen. You know, he was able to go in and communicate with Yah for the people. Because the people back then, they said, no, Moses, you talk to him. No, Aaron, you talk to him. They didn't think they could handle it. Because it was intense. And I'm here to tell you today, it's going to be intense for you once you break through. You got to get your breakthrough. How are you going to get your breakthrough? You got to learn to love. You got to learn to ask. You got to learn to search him out on this subject of Ahava, on the subject of Hesed, on the subject of Roe, right? You got to be able to get the tender love down, the compassion. You got to get all these different forms of Ahava, all these forms of love. You got to get them all implemented into you, and that's how you develop the image or the character of the Creator in you. And he believes it for you. Will you start to believe it for yourself? Will you start to trust it? Will you start to obey it? Will you start to do it and be a doer of this word? Will you? I'm asking you right now, will you do it? My election is sure. I've made a decision. I'm doing it. I'm in it to win it. Now, I don't care how ridiculous you think I look wrapped up in a blanket. I don't care how ridiculous you think I look, when I got a tallit wrapped around my head or over my shoulder. I don't care how ridiculous you think I look when I got a Trump hat on, which is representing the righteousness of the United States of America right now, those that want to get things right. Because we have humbled ourselves and we have prayed. And we've asked him, heal our land, Yah. Now, they might not even know his name, but they were asking this power that's out there. They were asking. And in this process, however intimate you have been, however you have communicated with him, there's a closeness that's developing. And you'll get revelation. His name is Yah. As you get more intimate, you'll get revelation on all kinds of ancient language stuff. Why? Because his word can't return back void. Zephaniah 3:9 is happening. The perfect language is pouring out. More and more people are learning Abrai, Aramaic. Abrai has been translated, by English people to say Hebrew, but it's really Abrai, right? You have been in this incredible knowledge base that's been developed that you have access to tap into. You're going to have to do a lot of asking, a lot of searching, and a lot of knocking just to be able to go through all of it and see what is truth and what is tradition, what's real and what he says, and what's fake and fraudulent in what the enemy, Hasatan, Gadrael, has said. Either you will serve Yahweh or Baal. That's what Elijah, was told to tell the people. Whom will you serve? Yahweh or Baal? And I ask you the same thing. Are you going to serve all these pagan gods and goddesses? Because that's Baal worship, man. That's paganism. Goes all the way back to Nimrod, all the way back to Genesis, or in the beginning, the Bereshit. It's all there. So there's no confusion in how you're going to learn to love, how you're going to get this process. It's going to take you having proper communication with him. And I already gave you a morning prayer and a night prayer. And I don't like this term prayer anymore or pray anymore. So we'll be using some different things. But the asking, the searching, and the knocking is accurate. I would say those are some good English words to start with. And it is actually the words of Yahusha, right? In Aramaic. And that's what I'm going to be teaching on as this time progresses, because I can't help you to learn to love unless you're willing to learn how to have intimate communication with your Creator. I love you. I love you, neighbor, as I love myself. And I love you enough that I want you to have a great supernatural communication, a supernatural relationship with your Creator. I want to see you have that. And you will have that. You will have that when you learn this communication process of, do the knees please thing. You got to get on your knees. You got to ask him. And you got to be willing to get yourself down into the eat the carpet mode, right? But as this develops, as this communication develops, you will take him with you in your lab, in your innermost being all day long. He'll be with you and you'll hear his voice. Okay? Remember this one line from the Mashiach, from Yahusha, that is so crucial for you, right? It's so crucial for me. It's so crucial for us. We, family. We are family, right? What is that line? My sheep hear, Shema, hear my voice. That's what the Mashiach says to you. My sheep hear my voice. Do you hear his voice? Because if you don't, you may not yet have become part of the Mishpachah. You may not yet have joined the family because you may not have the proper communication going on. And to get there, you don't have to get mad about it that you don't got it and act like a baby about it. You need to get there. Just do it, man. Get a time where you go to the secret place, where you create this intimacy in the shadow of his wings, the shadow of the Almighty, right? And you're in it with him, man. I believe in my fellow man enough that I'm willing to sit out here and look like a goon star with a blanket on at 2:00 in the morning in Hawaii time, so that I can be somewhat consistent with those that would be getting on when I start teaching normally at 5:17 in El Paso, Texas, 6:17 in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, which is actually the same time zone as Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. Even my friends over in East Texas, the Shepherds, man, right? Out in Kilgore. It's all relative. Central time zone, it's going to be 6:07 for them. And over on the East Coast, whether you're at Mar-a-Lago at Trump's place, or whether you're up in Washington, D.C. at the White House, it's going to be 7:07. So 2:07 here in Hawaii, 7:07 at the White House. So yeah, it's inconvenient. This isn't convenient for me, When I hit finish on this button on this live, I'm gonna go back to bed and get a few more hours so that I can make it through this intense planned day that I have ahead of me, because we're on our final days here in Hawaii and we're like doing it, man. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. Pearl Harbor was, man, it was an experience yesterday to go to that memorial and to think of all those people dying. I was crying. I mean, I keep it real, man. I have tears coming out. And I hope that you are that right and that tight in your communication with Yah, that you have the intimacy and the Yah ability to express ahava, to express the giving of love. Those people gave the ultimate gift. They gave their life. You know, the Japanese, man, they wanted to rule the world. And they wanted to take China. They wanted to do a lot of things. And they were really angry that the United States cut them off and wouldn't give them any oil so that they could continue to fight and go after China and other places, you know, that they were trying to take. So they attacked us here in Hawaii. You know, and almost 3,000 people died in the first day. But vengeance is mine, says Yah. And as America rose up to fight back, over 1 million Japanese were killed. Because while people were still yet sleeping here, in this peaceful place called Hawaii, they killed 3,000. And when the United States rose up and we came together, we became Achad. We killed over 1 million. Now, it's the same kind of story with David. You know, David was sent out by Yah in the vengeance of Yah, the revenge of Yah, to go after all these nations that were so evil. They were raping women. They were killing children. They were being pedophiles with children. There was a lot of freaky, stupid, bad junk going on. So Yah sent David, he said, take out these Philistines, man. And it started with a giant. It started with a big Philistine named Goliath. And that was the door that needed to open for him to become the warrior of Yisrael and eventually become the greatest king that Israel has ever known. So, intimacy. He is the ultimate example in the Tehillim, or the Psalms, of someone who had that intimate relationship with Yah. And he didn't have a perfect life. We know that he backslid by the time he got to Tehillim or Psalm 51. Right? He had an affair with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. Right? And his worst sin was not the adultery with her. His worst sin was trying to cover it up. His worst sin was not to kill her husband Uriah, a very strong soldier, a leader, right? In his army, Uriah, totally loyal to David, he killed him. That wasn't his worst sin. His worst sin was the scheming and the plotting and the covering up. There's many of you that have been involved in backstabbing, gossip, scheming, plotting, and doing things behind people's back. If you haven't gotten yet from him how wrong that was and how you need to make amends with people and go back to those people that you have harmed, which is in the Transform Recovery, this is Solid Scripture Steps 8 and 9. But you really can't do your 8 and 9 until you have all this other intimacy really, really down for yourself so you can get yourself up to Solid Scripture Step 7, which is to walk in the perfection, which I was just teaching on this week as well. You got to get into that perfection for yourself first. Because if you try teaching what you're not doing, then you're violating Matthew or Matthew 7, and you're the hypocrite, right? You got the log sticking out of your own eye. You haven't gotten your own house in order, and you're sitting and trying to preach to everybody else. So I'm here to tell you, you got to do it all. You can't jump around and just do bits and pieces. And the first process that you got to do is you got to get this vertical relationship, right? You got to get the vertical Ahava relationship correct. Intimacy, communication. That's going to teach you everything else because he will counsel you in all things. He's going to be there for you. Once you open up this door, you won't be able to get him out of your head. You won't be able to get him out of your heart. You won't be able to get him out of your guts, your gut feeling, right? Your nefesh, your very essence of who you are as a human being and what you are breathing out. It should definitely be, they see his breath in your breath. Yeah. The fingerprints of Yah will be all over your life. The evidence that you are intimate in your communication with him will be obvious. No one will even think of questioning it because they'll see it. They'll see his light shining through you so that the whole world can see his good works and give Yah all the kavod, all the honor, all the praises, all the thanks, all the gratitude. I'm not looking for any of that. I don't care. The gratitude's supposed to come to him. If somebody feels motivated to edify or say something positive about me, great. It is scriptural to do that too. But don't do it to manipulate somebody. Don't do it to blow smoke up their butt. You got to have the right intent of the heart if you're going to do something. Because we are doers of the word.